Alright, what's going on, guys? gdoggcasey here, getting ready for another StarCraft 2 cast. This time we're actually in the playoffs for the CTL Season 18. It's going to be LiT versus Formless Bearsloths, and it's going to be a good one. I mean, this season as a whole has been very good for LiT and for the Bearsloths, and yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it all comes down to this round. Everything is on the line. The loser does not continue. I don't even think there's a third place match. Based on the way the bracket was set up, definitely didn't look that way. So I'm actually not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure that we're not having a third place match. But we might get info on that later. Anyway, why don't we just go ahead and get ready to kick things off. First thing, though, I have to explain the walkover over here you're seeing. Unfortunately, LiT did give up a walkover in set number 5. I think there was just a mix-up of time zones or something like that. So, unfortunately, we're starting off at a disadvantage, down 1-0 already. But one awesome thing is that we're actually going to be able to cast some Annihilation or some Werner. He kind of goes by both, I think, as you can see in game. Let's go ahead and jump into that right now and get this thing started. This is going to be our gold matchup on Acid Plant. By the way, thank you, Duddles, for that follow. I appreciate that. I saw that in the intro. And also, hello. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in here. Well, my mouse was on the side. All right, let's go ahead and kick things off here. Introducing the purple Zerg player in the top left corner, representing Formless Bearsloths. It is Vausk. And at the bottom right, representing LiT in the blue, playing Protoss, it is Werner. So I did a little bit of research before the stream here. I did the best I could. I did it pretty quickly, so if I got the numbers a little bit wrong, I'm sorry. But I just went through the Wikipedia to check out some of the stats here on players on both teams to see how they've been doing. And to kick things off, Vausk, I'm not exactly sure how to say it. He was one of the major workhorses for Formless Bearsloths, playing in all 7 games of the season, and he did very well. I mean, he finished with a 2-5 record, so it wasn't the greatest showing for him, but at the same time, to be able to show up every single week and, you know, put on a show for his team, that's something you definitely got to acknowledge. I don't think there was a single player on LiT who actually did that, so definitely got to give him props for playing every single game. Hey, what's up, Potato? Thank you for the follow. So he had a 2-5 record throughout the season here. And on the other side of things, Werner had a lot of trouble actually getting games played. There was like a double walkover at the beginning. There was a couple walkover issues, mostly in favor of LiT. Werner definitely got a bunch of wins from that. But despite that, it was a 2-2 finish on the season here for Werner. So both players played in a significant amount of games. And let's see how this game is starting to shape off. So far it's been very standard on Werner's side. He got the expansion pretty early, then the core and the gas. This is something you will see most of the time. The only thing is, against a Zerg player, without having the wall on the lower ground, it's going to be incredibly tough. And we're already seeing lings coming out of Vausk here. I'm not sure if he has like scouted this or if this was just part of his plan all along, but with Zergling speed and continuing on gas as well, definitely there is a chance at a Bane bust here. And without any defenses down here on the low ground, it's going to be tough. I mean, at least this base is going to be hard to defend. He does have the kind of wall up here, so should be okay. Pylon's a little vulnerable there, though. And we do see a Baneling that's coming down, and just tons and tons more lings on the way here for Vausk. I definitely think he is basically going to be going all in here. We'll have to see how Werner can deal with this. He's got 1 Zealot. He's getting a 2nd Zealot. And he's getting more gateways. I like the idea of getting the gateways here. Definitely going to help with some warp-ins as soon as they're done. But the thing is, Zergling speed just over halfway done. I mean, Vausk is definitely sacrificing a lot of workers. He hasn't even made one in a while. Now finally getting back into it. But just so many lings. It looks like he's going to park out here, wait for the Bane Nest to finish. It just did. 5 Banelings warping in, and this is putting Werner on a clock for sure. The Warp Gate research is not going to be finished in time. Shield battery going down. That's it's a good first step here for Werner, but I think we might need a little bit more than that. So here come the Lings and the Banelings charging in here. The Zealots are trying to engage. Shield battery goes down before it can finish. Baneling getting off a couple hits here. Warner is going to try to hold on to the high ground here, but the Lings are just running right around the units, getting into the base. Warp Gate has finished, and the Lings have gone into the mineral line here. Warner being careful with his units. He doesn't want to sort of open up the door here, but you do need to defend. And on the other side, it looks like more Lings coming in here once again. Warner's got enough to defend this at this point, though. But it's still a lot of lost mining time here. How many workers actually went down? 7 workers in total. Yeah, sorry, you guys are right. Solo, I just copied that that player list from the Chobo site, but I did know that you subbed in, and I got your stats, not Axis, so don't worry about it. Got you covered. I just didn't have time to adjust the overlay. All right, so actually, the second base stays up here for Warner. That's incredibly good. Even though he lost some workers, he's got a large worker advantage, and Vausk is on the defensive now. He's making defensive Banelings, and he is trying to drone up. He's getting a Roach Warren as well, but a lair is nowhere in sight, really. He needs to start making drones, and it looks like now he finally feels comfortable that he's got enough units to defend any sort of counterattack, which he did need to make those because Warner is moving across the map. But now Vausk is actually moving across the map as well. And I'm not exactly sure how this is going to turn out here. On the other side, still no follow-up tech from Warner. It's a little bit of a mistake at this point. You want to have some sort of follow-up besides just the 3 gateways. Some of the units getting caught out as well. Looks like Warner, though, going in. He's got a lot of Zealots here. 1 Stalker just for a bit of support. But on the other side, these Zerglings and Banelings are going to come crashing in. He needs to block off this ramp once again. The shield batteries are not going to be able to finish. But I think he might have the Zealots up here on the high ground. Nope, the Zealots are moving down. The Lings are just running right around them. On this side, the Zealots never actually engaged. They're just standing in the middle of the map here. So this is a bit of a disaster for Warner as Vausk is just ripping him to shreds from the inside out. The recall does happen, but it's on the natural. So the Zealots are still out of position here. And these are Speedlings. They can just run around and run around. They don't have to engage. I'd say that at this point, with only 1 probe left for Warner, that Vausk has definitely done enough damage finally with this early aggression. He's got 6 roaches to follow this up as well. So he is going to be able to defend now. Okay, we got the Zealots here trying to come on down. It's just that without charge, the Zealots are pretty slow and they can be out-microed very easily. So, you know, I'm not, I don't have that high hopes here for Warner. He does have, like, a pretty strong army here. The army supplies are pretty close, but the thing is, with only 3 workers, Vausk is going to be able to tip that number in his favor very easily. And it looks like he's trying to make sure he can get enough gas to afford all these roaches. He is continuing to drone up a little bit more. Now, Warner is trying to move across the map. I don't disagree with this idea because it's basically the only thing he can do at this point, unless he just wanted to stay home and defend for like the next 7 minutes, which might actually be a potential strategy as well while he tries to probe back up. But he's only at 4 now, so he actually gets a nice engage on these roaches. Doesn't lose very much, does take out a lot, but there's more roaches on the way, and with no micro happening on either side, this is going to benefit the roaches, or sorry, the Zealots for sure. Finally pulling back here is Vausk, and I mean, we're trying to stabilize a little bit, but it's going to take a lot more than this for Warner to be able to pull himself back into the game. However, he is doing the right thing. He's forced 3 spine crawlers out of Vausk, which is actually, they do look pretty necessary at this point, but I'm still not sure I like the idea to go fully in. There's a number of roaches here. Still no lair, by the way, on the way, so these roaches are not going to have speed for an incredibly long time. But the numbers are getting to be a little bit too much here, and especially once these spine crawlers go up, there's no way at all Warner is going to be able to go in. He's trying to chrono boost his Nexi, trying to get out more probes, and again, like, this needs to happen. But he needs to put on a lot more pressure. A bunch of Speedlings coming out. Might not seem like the right answer. Oh, he's using recall to go all the way back home. Okay, a little bit of an overreaction, I would say, but at the same time, you know, it's definitely possible that those lings could have wrapped around and maybe just ended the game. So I appreciate what Werner's trying to do. He's trying his best to stay in the game here, and now he's just going to defend and make probes and probably try to chrono boost them out. I don't mind this decision, but it's just about the, you know, what are the possibilities here for him? He's going to have to hope that his opponent just leaves him alone for a very long time. And it looks like the lings are coming across. And the building positioning isn't great either for Werner, so the Zerglings are going to be able to kind of pick and choose where they want to go. They can come around this side if they just want to stay away. They can just run right by and go right into the main as well. So, you know, it's a little bit rough here for him. But it looks like he's getting a little bit of time as the roaches are slow. The lair has finally started, by the way. But here comes the engage. The lings are coming on in. The shield battery is full, but the pylon is being focused down. The army was on hold position as well. And this engagement is... well, I mean, it's not going that great here for Faust. Werner is going to be able to push this back. Although, I don't know if... no, never mind. I don't like the Adepts. The Adepts are not going to be very good against the roaches here. Yeah, the probes are all in a very vulnerable spot. So he's going to finally pull them back up to the main, but this base looks like it's finally going to be destroyed. There's just not enough here. The Adepts would have been good if it was like a pure Ling attack, but against this number of roaches, the 3 Adepts... Whoops, sorry, my bad. The 3 Adepts basically just do nothing. So Vausk is just going to siege up here on the low ground. Going to change into Ravagers. That was only leaving 3 roaches behind for defense. He's lucky that Werner only has 1 Zealot. But he does manage to survive after that bold decision. And he's going to leave the Nexus alone. I think he's just going to come on up. Targeting the pylon would be a very smart idea here. And I think eventually that's going to happen. There we go. And Werner taps out. GG. Nicely done by Vausk. And a tough game for Werner there, but... you know, sometimes things just don't really go your way. I think one thing I would say, and I'm definitely not a coach, and I don't really like giving advice here, but there is a bit of a glaring, obvious thing here for Werner where it's lacking a follow-up. Like, after you get the Cybercore, there's a couple different, you know, kind of options you can go for that would help against roaches or against... basically a lot of different things that Zerg can do. If you really like the Zealots, you can even just get a Twilight and get Charge with them. Because if you had Charge, when you're crossing the map after on your counterattack, you actually might have been able to get some damage done, despite the fact that you probably, you know, against most people probably shouldn't have been able to. But in that position, it looked like there was a chance. So you throw on Charge, or you throw on, you know, Stargate, or, you know, even a Robo for some Immortals. Any of those options is going to help you out at that point in the game. But it goes to Formless there. So let me go ahead and adjust my scoreboard. And yeah, again, I just sort of copy-pasted this. So I apologize, Solo, that your name's not on there. All right, so that's going to be red. Yeah, that's another good point as well. Solo's bringing up in chat. Against a Zerg player, you pretty much have to wall off the low ground against, unless they're just not going to attack you. But most, like, if I see no wall, like, I'm making 16 lings and sending them across. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into the next one here. Already down 0-2. We're moving on into our Platinum match. Yeah, no, there was still a chance for him to win in that game. Despite the natural not being walled off. Okay, so let's go. Set number 2. In the top left corner, representing LiT. In the orange, playing Protoss. Also a CTL admin. It is Potato. 14 years old as well. So, notable stat there. And in the bottom, representing Formless Bear Sloths in the yellow, the one true color. It is Please Ben No. I don't know what Ben did to him, but it's had a very lasting effect as it's made it into his username for StarCraft 2. He's playing the Terran, and he's going gas first. So, Potato, in this season, has played 5 games for us. That's a very solid amount of games. And he's had a very good season. He has a record of 4-1 in the CTL this season, so probably going to be the favorite based on that. And if we're looking at Ben's stats, we're seeing that he's played 2 games this season, and he was 1-1. So, not a lot of info on him out there, but did manage to pick up at least 1 win in the league, so definitely not going to be an easy win here for Potato. Alright, so with the gas first opening from our Terran player here, it definitely hints towards like a very early factory. He is getting the Reaper anyway, so it's not as early of a factory as it could be, but the Reaper is still a fairly necessary tool for Terran if he wants to get any information early on. So I can see why you wouldn't just skip it. Getting up pretty fast. Nexus down here is Potato with the Cybercore follow-up in the second gas. Very similar to what Werner was doing in his game. SCV has seen enough. He's already heading back home. Happy to see the second base and the 1 gas. He's going to be getting his own expansion, and the Reaper is making his way around. Looks like he's actually looking for some proxy stuff going on here, and I don't blame him for that, especially in such an important game. I mean, we haven't really emphasized all that much that this is the playoffs, right? So these games, every single match is incredibly important, and you don't want to lose to a proxy Stargate or a proxy, you know, Dark Shrine or anything like that. So he did do some looking around. He comes on in with the Reaper. Let's see if he can get anything done. I like the... See, this is something that I really like from Potato here. It's just nice and defensive. It's not perfect because the Reapers can still skirt around, but honestly, it's good enough. He does lose a probe, sadly, but the Reaper sticks around, and I don't know. I would take a probe for a Reaper, even though it is pretty shitty to lose a probe early on still. Killing a Reaper now means that Potato can take map control if he wants, even with just 1 Stalker. Looks like we have Cyclones coming out of Please Ben No. And those can be pretty brutal early on. I've seen Terran definitely go with like a double factory Cyclone type build. But you don't even need double factory. You get 1 factory, you pump out 4 Cyclones and send them across the map. And if the Protoss has no idea that they're coming, they can do a surprising amount of damage. No Stargate here, or Starport is also notable from Ben. Up here we have the observers being made. A couple Stalkers moving across the map. And we have the Twilight Counts already getting charged. So, see, this is like, you know, I'm not trying to go back to Game 1 too often, but this is the kind of thing that we're talking about here. When we see that you can get gateway units, but you can get other buildings as well to support them, and it just really helps out. And it's not even too micro-intensive either. You know, you get charged and it just kind of kicks in by itself. But here we go. We do have some aggression coming out of Please Ben No. He's got the Cyclones, and this is kind of what I was talking about. He's actually mixed in Hellions with it, which is an interesting combination here. The Stalkers are going to have a hard time against the Cyclones. Let's see what he does. Nice micro here from Potato. Nice micro on the other end from Ben, but the Immortal pops out, and the Immortal is exactly what you need to shut down these Cyclones, and they cannot stick around once the Immortal is out. So after about 2 workers going down, Potato is going to push this away and no, not suffer very many losses at all. Next time those Cyclones come around, the Zealots will have charge on them as well, so it'll be even tougher for them. Heading all the way back home now, getting a bunker. Potato is able to see all of this. A 3rd command center as well, I like that. And then getting some barracks to move into bio here finally. The one thing about this opening is it definitely delays your stim by a hell of a long time, and you know, your barracks production is really going to be hampered. So I think Please Ben No going to be on the back foot here for a little bit, probably just wanting to play defensively. And this is a nice move here from Potato, taking the breathing room that he's given himself to get a third Nexus and a a Templar Archives on the way. So we're going to be moving into some high Templar, probably with Storm. He does have Zealot charge as well, but there's no Zealots on the map. I wonder if this is... it might be for Archons, but he doesn't really have a lot of gas to just dump them all the way into Archons, so I think he's just going to get some high Templar and try to get Storm with them. The third command center is an orbital. And we're still a couple barracks short here for Please Ben No, so he's going to be moving into that. He's getting his gases down as well, and he is moving out with a drop here with some Hellions. And it looks like Potato has spotted it. He's moving into the right position, but actually not really. Okay, these two Stalkers are going to have a hell of a job here defending this medevac, and it looks like they're going to get not quite enough damage, but Stalkers in general are pretty good against Hellions, so this drop doesn't appear to be able to get too much damage. As one of the Hellions goes down, the medevac goes down as well. All of the Hellions go down, and yeah, not one worker kill with that, so that is going to hurt very much. And also, he didn't get the scout off on the third base as well, so... You know, Please Ben No is playing dark here. He is getting siege tanks now. And where's the engineering bay? Oh, okay, the engineering bays are only getting started right now. Now, that said, the two forges are only going down now for Potato as well, but with the third base already up and running and getting probed up here, he's still getting more Immortals. Like, he's getting everything he needs here. Again, he's got Storm on the way. He's starting to get those high Templars. Things are looking pretty good here for Potato. The supply count is very even, though. These players looking pretty evenly matched at this point in the game. We're getting combat shields and concussive shells now for Please Ben No as well. And he's setting up a defensive posture. This map is a map that I actually have next to no experience playing on because I veto it every time. This third base just seems like a nightmare to defend on either side. So it's not a map that I'm too fond of, but the Observer getting picked off. And with the third base here for Ben, like, I mean, the worker count is pretty even. In fact, Ben is starting to pull ahead in supply now because he did get the third base completed earlier. He got it turned into an orbital, and now he's got a bunch of SCVs and mules mining from it. So definitely Potato needs to get a little bit of counteraction done. I think maybe you know, some sort of harass or this. This is a good idea too, getting the fourth base. So the fourth base is going to sort of help propel him ahead a little bit more. Making some Archons. And 1-1 on the way as well. He's ahead of the Terran player with his upgrade, so that's another thing going in Potato's favor. Interested to see how this is going to play out here. It's definitely going into the late game, or at least the mid-late game. You know, we're not seeing carriers yet, but I definitely consider this a macro game. And I love what Potato did here, sending another Observer across the map. It's super common with you know, lower level StarCraft players and even like me, for us to not, you know, you get your creep spread killed off, your Observer dies or anything, you just say, oh well, I guess I just don't have vision. But Potato remaking the Observer, sending it across the map, and because of that, he's going to see the army moving out here, which is huge. Because now he's going to be able to set up defenses, and it looks like he is out on the move as well. Starting to finally warp in those charge lots. I think he needs a few more, and the gateways are coming in as well here. That's really going to help reinforce this defense. Scanning here, nice scan here from Please Ben No. Spotting the army. This is very ambitious of that Liberator. Yeah, he's going to get shoot back. Lucky he didn't die, to be honest. More Stalkers coming in here. I'd like to see a couple more rounds of Zealots here coming out of Potato. He'd definitely be able to just swarm all over this. The supplies are still pretty close, but Please Ben No does have that advantage. As far as upgrades go, right now, the upgrade advantage is in favor of Potato, but as I say that, the upgrade's finished here for Please Ben No, so it's going to be an even fight. But Potato on the ball here as far as upgrades. He's got his 2-2 coming. He does have a lot of chrono boost on these Nexus here, so it'd be nice to start chronoing out those upgrades, but regardless, he's got a good setup here. Immortals as well. He's got the perfect amount of Immortals to deal with these Siege Tanks. These Zealots are actually going to scout the positioning here of his Terran opponent. He still has the Observer down here spotting for reinforcements as well, but maybe an Observer around this area would be pretty good as well. The tanks are getting a little ambitious here for Please Ben No. Trying to find a spot where he can attack up this ramp, and this ramp is very easy to defend. But if Ben just got himself wedged in here, which it looks like he's thinking of doing, he finally sees the third base. He's moving his tanks. He's going to take advantage on the low ground here and force the engagement out of Potato. But Potato has a gigantic army. Guardian Shields going down. Immortals marching through. The tanks are getting separated from the bio. This is exactly what Potato wants to do, although, you know, this fourth base a little bit vulnerable, but manages to just move past the tanks, taking out a couple on the way, forcing stims out of his Terran opponent, and now just chasing him down. Oh, the reinforcements have met up. The siege tanks are sieging. This is a lot of bio here. Definitely needs to be careful. Potato on the run himself now, getting chased down, stimming up the ramp. This is a lot of damage, but what an epic storm. That storm saved his life, because those bio units were looking like they were wanting to do a lot of damage. But during all of this, Potato barely lost anything. He didn't lose any probes. He didn't lose his fourth. He's warping in now. The supply is still heavily in favor of Please Ben No, and he's not been slacking either, by the way, as far as macro. He's getting his extra bases. He's getting his upgrades. He is getting ready. His 2-2, though, is very late. Oh, nice play here with the Liberator. Actually able to get one kill. These Zealots are fumbling around a little bit. Trying to get the Stalkers here to push this away. Finally going to be able to do so. I think we need a few more gateways here coming out of Potato as well. He's got a lot of minerals and a lot of gas, but no real way to spend them. Oh, he's got double Stargate. I didn't even notice that. So he's pumping out double Void Rays now. Getting a Warp Prism as well. I like to see that. And it looks like Please Ben No moving across on this side. He wants to set up an attack on the fourth base, which I think is a good idea. So he'll probably be able to move up here and set up some siege tanks. But he doesn't have a lot of siege tanks. He did lose a bunch of them already. And this type of scan is something that can be looked at as a bit of a giveaway here, as obviously he's trying to set up his position. He does get the Liberator set up in a really good spot. Siege tanks as well. This is going to be pretty tough here, but we do have Storm on Potato side, so let's see how this goes. The bio is just stimming back and forth. The Protoss army moving into siege tank range. The Liberators are getting picked off pretty quickly, but a lot of Protoss army going down here. Finally a Psystorm, but it's not going to be enough, and Please Ben No is pushing through on this side of the map. Warping over here, Zealot's going to be very helpful. There's no more Storm in the mix here, so this fourth base is going to be taken down, and Please Ben No is pushing his tank bio across the map here. Definitely going to be able to take out that fourth base. And this third base, if Potato stands over here, then this third base is going to be very hard for him to defend. I mean, Ben can go to the same spot he was before, and with his siege tanks, you know, it definitely helps him fortify a position like that. But we do have 3-3 just about to be finished, I think, for Potato, or at least 3-1. So the upgrades are really going to start to kick in. 2-2, however, just about to finish for Ben. And he's macroing up like a beast here. He's got lots of units back home ready to join up with this army. Probably not as many siege tanks as he would like. You know, you have 3 of them at this stage of the game. It's not going to do as much as you would hope. Potato getting caught with his hand in the cookie jar here with this expansion. Definitely not going to be able to keep that. He's actually walled himself out from being able to defend it. Nice cancel, though. He does get the money back for that, but now he knows where the army is as well. So how is he going to defend this? This is a pretty formidable attack here coming from Please Ben No. He's maxed out right now. He's got 2-2. The Liberators are not quite set up. They're setting up now. There is the Storm we were looking for. Admittedly, a lot of it was on his own Zealots, but he was able to push back the bio, and now these Oh no, the High Templar are getting caught out here. Managed to get off a couple more storms, but definitely a few of them went down. And Please Bed No is looking stronger and stronger here as this continues. Setting up position closer and closer, trying to really strangle Potato out of this game. Tempest are coming out. They're going to be good against the Liberators, but I think you need a little bit more than one. Here comes a drop for a Siege Tank on this side as well. Clever move from Ben, but that Siege Tank is going to get pushed down. There's somehow the other tanks are out of position. Now, Ben has been stimming the crap out of his Marines here, and his medevacs are almost dead, and they have no energy, so this Bioforce is very, very low on health. Something to consider for this engagement here. They're not going to be getting that health back anytime soon. And they're also leaving the protection of their Siege Tank buddies. This Siege Tank not able to get any vision on the high ground, so it's kind of useless over here. War Prism over here, I noticed, but I don't think it's gotten any damage done yet. He's been hard-pressed at home. Now the Tempests are starting to push away these Liberators. He's going to be able to pick them off slowly but surely. And look at this, is what I'm talking about. The bio is just so stimmed that it can't really engage anymore. It's not close to as scary as it used to be, but where are his reinforcements? I mean, he's been... The reinforcements just kind of stopped here for Ben. The supply is much lower for him as well. There was a moment where he was macroing heavily, well moving the army around the map, but for that last engagement, he wasn't reinforcing. Now, this is a planetary, so these Zealots are not going to be able to get as much done as he would hope. But it's still something that is splitting the attention of the Terran player. Taking his bases back also is Potato, and he's actually got himself a nice supply lead now. This kind of just happened out of nowhere. I mean, this... The Terran, Please Bed No just kind of just stopped with the macro there. But we can see now he's picking it back up, getting back in front here. He's making a lot of Liberators, 6 Liberators at a time. And Potato trying to get out Void or Carriers here. So he's going into the late game. It's going to take a while to get the amount of Carriers that he really wants, and during this time, Liberators are being made. I think there was another Zealot run by somewhere. Yeah, over here. The Zealots are tearing shit up. In fact, 30 workers going down. I really apologize. I totally missed all of that. This Warp Prism finally going to go down, but totally worth it to get that many workers killed. Very well done. Still another Zealot in the main here, just being annoying. And he's got more Zealots over here. This is the kind of thing that will really frustrate an opponent who's not very good at dealing with multi-prong harass. It's literally 2 Zealots just smacking a refinery, but it's still, you know, it's in his mind. He knows it's happening. And he is running out of places to mine as well, is Ben. And all this time that Potato is buying himself is giving him a chance to get these carriers out. The longer this goes on for, the better, absolutely. Unfortunately, his War Prism was picked off, and he hasn't made a second one, I don't think. No. So that type of harassment is going to be done with. Getting the base over here, very smart idea. Ben has already sort of thought of that. In fact, okay, he's got the base over here and this one. So he's not as hard-pressed as I thought he was. Okay, good, he is repairing that. And as far as the upgrades go, 3-3 literally just started here for Ben. And once that finishes, I mean, it makes his army so strong. He's actually maxed out here as well, so he's got all these Liberators that he's been building up. I'm not sure how Liberators do against carriers. Something tells me not very good, but he's setting up a gigantic siege over here. This is going to be interesting. How is this going to play off? He's managed to add in more medevacs as well. The Tempests are just picking off some of these Liberators, but the rest of them are moving in here, setting up a major siege. The Storms are going down as well, forcing the Bio back, but the Zealots are dropping like flies. Actually, no, the Liberators are dropping like flies. The Zealots haven't even taken much damage at all. They're on hold position over here. Very smart from Potato, stopping them from running in. More carriers being added to the mix, and Please Ben No actually just sacrificed about half of his army before he was even fully able to engage. Now, some warp or some High Templar going down. That's definitely going to be good for Ben, and he's continuing to push forward here. I'm not exactly sure. He's got a lot of bio as well, but once again, just stimming the crap out of his bio. He's got no energy left on the medevacs. They're probably going to die anyway. That storm is so effective against units with this little health. Now he is pushing forward, scaring the probes away, trying to do damage to the actual Nexus here. And it's still pretty awkward because, you know, we're dealing with mostly Zealots, and these Liberators can do a lot of damage, but eventually the Tempests are going to be able to pick that apart. And once again, Potato holds on an engagement that I really didn't think he should have been able to, but it was very well defended, and now he's still got these carriers, these Void Rays, and these Tempests that he can reinforce with Zealots, and things are looking pretty damn good for him at this point. He's got the supply lead again. The Terran is trying to mine here from these planetaries, and I mean, money's not a problem. I mean, he's got 5,000 minerals here, so let's make some barracks and try to pump out even more units if you're Please Ben No. At this point, he's gone into Ravens, which I really like the look of that Raven with this skin. So that's pretty cool. But Potato, he's going to be the one on the aggression now. He's going to be the one with the bigger army and looking scary. This whole game, it's kind of been... Oh, this tank is still here. This tank is still here. Actually denies the Nexus there. And that's going to piss Potato off a little bit right away, making some Zealots to go take care of that. There go the Zealots. Now, 3-3 is done for Please Ben No. He's going into Thors here. Well, he's only making one at a time, so it's not like a huge transition or anything, but I'm still not... I don't know exactly how much damage, you know, 1 or 2 Thors are going to be able to do. More Warpins here from Potato going into Zealots and another High Templar. And it looks like he's moving out. We'll have to see. He's still got that supply lead. Fusion core as well. Did he get the Liberator range? I don't see it. Sorry, I missed that engagement. I was looking at upgrades, but Potato demolishes that planetary, and now the army engages. Some seeker missiles going off, getting a couple big hits, but there's not much left here for Please Ben No. The charge lots are charging up this ramp, getting on top of that Thor. And every time I look at Ben's Marines, they always look like they're already close to dead before the engagement even happens. A big storm going down here on these medevacs, and Potato is asserting himself on to Please Ben No's side of the map for maybe the first time this entire game, but he is doing it in a big way. GG, says Please Ben No, and that is going to be the end of that. And that was a pretty epic game. Finally, we got a... Well, not finally. I mean, they come up every once in a while, but we got a nice... macro game from these two players, and it was a really good one. I mean, back and forth quite a few times. It looked to me like Ben had the advantage for the most part. I think Potato was making better decisions, but Ben had better macro for a long time, and he was able to sort of keep his production going. But in the end, Potato's decision to go into carriers and just air units in general, all of them kind of helped him out against the type of attacks that Please Ben No was doing, and it worked out for him. GG. That's going to put the first point on the board for LiT. And like I said, that was a huge playoff match here. I remember when Potato told us about that. It was the first game of the week, and we basically started off 1-0, and it was epic, and I loved it. So yeah, that was awesome. So let's move into set number 3 now, which is going to be the first time we take a look at some diamond play, I think. Okay, so let's go. Here on black pink in the bottom left, representing LiT. in the yellow. I remember he said he was going to go yellow this game for me, so awesome job. It is Kenpachi. And in the top right, in the blue, representing Formless Bear Sloths. Playing Protoss, it is Jolts. Whoop. Damn it. Screwed that all up. ZVP here on Blackpink. Uh-oh. It's never good when you have to do that. Wonder what the explanation is for this. Is he going for 3 hatch? Did he know the probe was going to come be an asshole? So he's... Or is he just scouting? Well, he does manage to get the natural down. Probe is going to come on in. See the timing of the gas. Probably the pool as well. On his side of the map, he's got the wall started on the low ground. He's got the gateway and the gas started. This is sort of when you decide as a Protoss player, are you going to make the Cyber Core next, or are you going to get the Nexus? Just based on what Zerg's doing. Looks like he's going to make the Nexus and be happy with that. And then get that Cyber Core next. Still not fully sure what we were doing here with this drone. It just looks like he was looking around. Just looking for proxies, I guess. And he is over here getting some scouting, seeing nothing in the main base. On this side, we have the second gateway going down, as well as the Cyber Core, and we'll see what he wants to go with as far as tech goes. I think he's going to wait for this drone to get out of town, though, before he drops that. On this side of the map, by the way, 100 gas has been mined, and we are leaving in gas for the moment. And there it is, Stargate. That's going to be the choice here, coming from Jolts. We'll see if he goes Oracle or Phoenix with that. And now it's going to be, what does our Zerg player do? He hasn't got a third base yet. He's getting a gas down here. He's getting a lair before 3 minutes. What is the reason for this? Is it going to be like a Roach Nidus play, or... But, I don't know. I mean, there's no Roach Warren, so... I have no idea. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Interesting play coming out of Kenpachi. On the other side, it is going to be an Oracle coming from Jolt, so he's going to be on the other side of the map pretty soon. Getting a shield battery. Lings are on the lookout as well. I think Kenpachi is pretty paranoid about potential proxies. He's making a lot of queens as well. There's a Roach Warren. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a Nidus play coming from Kenpachi. That's why he's rushing that lair. Does he have vision in the main? He's got an Overlord ready to get vision in the main. So this could work out. There's pretty much nothing here. But the Stargate's already made. And once you make a couple Void Rays, unless you're really on point with your queens, it's going to be tough. But the lair is done. There's the Nidus right up in front. This Oracle is going to be seeing it. I don't know if he's going to be clicking on it. But there's a lot of queens here, able to just shoo away this Oracle. No creep spread connecting the two bases, though, so if he wanted to go into the main, he could. He's going to come over here, see no third base, and be a little bit confused about that. And I imagine he's going to want to come see if it's over here, so he can kind of click in. Some Zergs take a third over here, and it confuses me. It doesn't seem like a good place. He does get the tag, though, and it's on the Nidus network, so he knows 100% what he's up against here. Getting some gateways in a robo back at home. He still doesn't have any vision in these locations, and I don't know where Kenpachi wants to drop this Nidus, unless he's just going to do it right in the natural. But being tagged here really sucks. I mean, he's just doing this right in front of Kenpachi. He does drop it right in the natural. Is this going to get responded to? He needs to pull all the probes now, and it doesn't look like he's doing it. The units are getting into the Nidus, so here we go. Is he going to be able to defend? The units pop out. The queens are out first, and here come the roaches as well. There's a couple stalkers in play, but there's really not that much. Now, these probes They're obviously not doing a ton of damage, but the longer they're here, they will eventually get enough damage done to make this easy to defend. He is losing a ton of workers, though. The oracles have joined as well. These queens are picking them apart. There's not a lot of roaches left. The queens have transfused, but no. Oh my god, he gets to transfuse at the last possible second. And this middle queen, is she going to get one? No, she gives one out, though, right before she dies. More roaches are joining the fight, but there's only 2 queens. Oh, nice transfuse again, but is he going to be able to pick off this Void Ray? I don't think so. The Void Ray takes out the queen, and now just this one Void Ray is going to be enough to defend the natural here. The roaches are going to try to get a little bit more damage done, but it's not going to be significant. Maybe a probe or 2. And that's going to do it for the Nidus attack. Now, what does Kenpachi have behind this? Well, he's got Lair. He doesn't have Roach Speed yet. It looks like he's going to try to... Well, no. those roaches are just stuck in the Nidus network now. So, he did get a lot of workers killed. He's taken a third base as well. You know, maybe you want to take that third base a little bit earlier so that it's already there for when your attack is finished. But he's trying to come back here, and he's going to macro out of this. Like I said, he's got the Lair. He could get Roach Speed and put himself into a decent position to defend at least the ground army. But with the Stargate out as well, that's something he's going to have to consider. And that's the thing about this Nidus type play. He's going into the Hydras, but you don't really have a lot of gas, and it takes a long time to tech into what you need, like to defend against the Stargate. The Hydras are very expensive. He's making another Nidus here in the main. This one still hasn't been spotted. Although I guess it has been. It might be within vision range here. And he's going to be able to defend against this. I don't know if this is going to really work out here. He gets murdered instantly. Kenpachi is a little bit on the back foot. He's lower in workers. And he's still just been making roaches. He's trying to find a spot where he can put pressure on. And I guess, like, you know, whatever you're going to do, you got to do it full, you know what I mean? Like, he's at this point with the drones being made, it makes me think he's sort of given up on the attack. That said, I don't really know. The units are moving across the map. There's a lot of sentries here with a nice amount of energy for Guardian Shield and Force Fields. This third base is going to be very tough to defend. The roaches are here. Roach Speed is going to finish just in time. And he's making some Hydras now. So maybe he can defend against this. Let's see. The Hydras are taking their time, though. The Roaches are on the high ground. There's only one Void Ray, so that's pretty good. And he's trying to find the right position. Guardian Shields go down. Sentries are starting to get picked off. A few Hydras are joining the attack. They're going to be able to pick off that Void Ray. The Warp Prism as well needs to get out of trouble. This is going to be a close fight. It looks like Kenpachi's going to be able to defend. And there goes Jolts. He's going to pick up and get out of town. Oh, he almost lost that Warp Prism in this Immortal. I think he got a kill there. Yeah, he absolutely did. He gets 2 kills. He gets 3 kills. And then he dies. But I'd say that's okay, considering it could have just got surrounded and died right away. On the other side, third base here for Jolts. He's still got this creep all over his natural, which is giving vision, by the way, so that's very annoying here for Jolts. Excuse me, he's got the Twilight with the charge, and another Nidus here. He hasn't made any more air units from his Stargate. So, with no response here from Jolts, this could actually be pretty huge damage. He's got the creep as well, so out come the Roaches and the Hydras. There's not that much here to defend against this. This is a brilliant play here from Kenpachi, forcing all the probes out of the natural and just wreaking havoc all over the Protoss base. Now, there is a nice amount of units here for Jolts, and they have good positioning here. So yeah, finally the Zerg going to be pushed back. What are the upgrades like here? Neither player has a significant upgrade besides just speed. And this Nidus network gets put down. But that was a lot of damage here coming out of Kenpachi. He's got 29 workers killed total. That was enough to bring him back into the game. But he still needs to do some more to put himself ahead, or at least macro like a god here and just make a ton of drones. He's only got 47 at this point of the game, which is a small amount, but not that bad considering how the game has played out. But still, he wants to get that number up a little bit more. Charge just about done here for Jolts. His third base is trying to get up and going here. No, there's not a lot of real direction here from Jolts either. Okay, Templar Archives, there we go. Gives us a little bit of direction. We know he's going for Charge Lot and Storm, so we'll probably see Archons as well. Spinecrawler for a little bit of added defense. And it looks like we're sticking on Roach Hydra here for Kenpachi. Only getting the Evo Chambers now as well. Again, because of the way the game played out, that's not too surprising, but it's still pretty late for upgrades. But his opponent is only just making one Forge right now. So that's all that matters, right? It's all relative to what your opponent's doing. This Overseer is going to have a nice life and be totally destroyed, but he sees the army out here. So Kenpachi should be able to get in the proper position. And he's going to start pumping out some roaches now. 7 more roaches on the way. The Warp Prism here for Jolts is going to be a huge help. And this is a pretty scary army here. There's not enough Roach Hydra here. The Charge Lots are charging in. Nice engagement from the Ling, sort of negating a lot of the damage on the roaches, but Jolts is pushing his way through. This third base is vital for Kenpachi. He cannot lose this third base at this point in the game. The sentries are pushing forward a little bit out of position, but they're actually doing damage here to these roaches, and Kenpachi is running out of units. These Archons are going to add a major punch to the army as well. Kenpachi going to need to abandon his third base here, pulling the drones. This one Immortal just takes out a Spinecrawler and is wreaking havoc all by itself. No damage done on the other side of the map, so Kenpachi is really just taking it on the chin right now. Not able to shove away that Warp Prism. You know when you're doing this that, you know, there's not a lot of hope left as Protoss is running up the ramp here, taking care of the last Roach. These Spinecrawlers are not going to have a chance. The Queens are coming to try to help. Just delay. Just get the Spinecrawlers up. The Link's coming in from behind as well, but there's not going to be enough here. The Spinecrawlers are trying so hard, but they're getting picked away. Smiley face says Kenpachi as he understands. Oh, he's got lurkers here as well, but wasn't able to get the lurkers out in time. GG, well played. And Jolts is going to take that game against Kenpachi. And you know what? I feel so bad. I totally forgot to talk about the stats. So Kenpachi had a 3-2 record on the season, so he had played 5 games. He had a 3-2 record, and Jolts was 1-1 on the season. I apologize to you guys. I forgot to do that. It's not something that I normally do, so I just forgot. But that said, let's. I forgot to update the Photoshop as well, so let's do that too. We're gonna give Jolts the red, and that's a huge win, by the way, guys, because that's gonna put the score up to 3-1 for Formless, and that means that one more loss and it is all over for LiT anyway. Alright, there we go. Should update, and it is updated. So yeah, we got a 3-1 score in favor of Formless, and we are moving on to set number 4. Another diamond match. Oh, this is the diamond 2 and 3 match. On Neon Violet Square. All right, here we go. In the top left, representing LiT. In the yellow, gotta shout out that yellow. Playing Zerg, it is Strix. And in the bottom right corner, representing Formless Bear Sloth. In the purple, playing Protoss, it is Trumpet. Probably TB Ham's biggest nemesis, I'd imagine. The Trumpet is the better instrument, so this immediately puts Trumpet ahead of TB Ham in some sort of competition that I haven't defined yet, but Trumpet starts ahead. He's going to be on the low ground, making that gateway. Strix, on the other hand, going to be coming down for a hatchery first, which is very standard. Let's get the stats out of the way. Strix has only played 2 games for LiT this season, and he's got a 1-1 record. And the bottom right, Trumpet. Has a 3-0 record this season for his team. So Trumpet is undefeated. It's going to put some pressure on Strix here. I'm interested to see what Strix is going to do in this game. I'm not too sure what his ZVP style is. We've had a lot of conversations about the game, actually, but I think it's mostly been ZVT and ZVZ. I haven't really... or I just missed any other conversation in which he's talked about playing against Protoss. So I'm interested to see what kind of style he wants to do. And same thing on the other side for Protoss. What is Trumpet going to do? Is he going to go Stargate? Like, it seems like at least half the Protosses are doing. Is he going to go for Adepts? Which I like to do. I think it's a lot of fun playing with Adepts. Who knows? We'll have to wait. Overlord's going across the map. This probe sticking around here. Going to be trying to scout for that third base. It is pretty important to find that as a Protoss player when you're playing up against Zerg. Another notable thing here, drones staying in gas indicate maybe roaches or banelings. This probe is not going to be able to delay things for very long. No, it just dies. The third base goes down instantly. And we see a Stargate coming at a Trumpet. Starting to probe up here. Strix getting Overlord inside here, getting a look. Sometimes the Stargate's right here. We even saw the last Bear Sloth player did that, so sometimes you can spot it very quickly with this type of scout. We'll see. Maybe the Overlord won't even see it at all. Oh, it's so close. It is so close. Okay, there it is. So he at least saw the building. Again, I don't know if it's going to be clicked on, but maybe. Overlord's speed is just about to finish on the other side. Strix has been droning up. Hasn't really made much else. Getting some queens. Going to start spreading a little bit of creep. But a gateway here, it's been a very standard beginning to this game. Not a lot of action going on, unless you call this Overlord getting a lot of action in with speed, scouting the entire base. He definitely sees the Stargate now, so we'll probably be seeing some spores already. Spores going down, a couple of depths running on in. This can always be annoying. It basically forces Zerg to make at least a couple units, because otherwise you can see Strix is having a little bit of trouble here because he's only been on those 2 lings. So he hasn't made any other lings, so now he's making lings, and he should be able to push away these adepts at some point. Lings forgot to get rallied, so getting a little late to the party here. He's going to be able to pick off one of the adepts. Can he get the second one? No, the shade finishes. So the second adept getting into the mineral line once again. 8 workers going down, which is pretty significant. And Strix finds themselves on a very small amount of workers here. Trumpet's just been pumping out the probes all day, but Strix is very, very far behind in workers. Third base going down by Trumpet. He should be able to catch up relatively quickly, but he needs to get a few cycles of drones. And oh no, these drones have been stuck here for a very long time. So when your drone count is already low, and half of them aren't even working, that is that's something I don't think Strix is going to be too happy about once he finally notices. He does have lings coming over here, though. They will scout the third base. Maybe they can get a cancel. Only one adept gets warped in. Lings are going to pick off the probe. They are going to pick off this adept as well. Nice positioning, though, by the adept. Definitely buying Trumpet some time, and picked off a lot of the lings as well. I don't think this is going to be a cancel anymore as the oracles come on in. They activate their lasers, and they take care of those. Oh no, guys. More lings. More drones. Looks like he really wants to put pressure on this third base here. He's determined to get it. More units being morphed in, though. There are a lot of adepts here. Definitely enough adepts to take care of this amount of lings. We got queens. We got Lair coming. Still no Evo chambers or anything like that. And the Ling's not really able to get too much done. This is enough to defend. Maybe they'll spot the double robo. They come in. They're going to try to pick off a couple workers. And then get on out. Looks like he found the drones there. It's definitely going to help out his economy here for a little bit. Oracle's in on the third base. Getting shoot away, though. Nice amount of queens here for Strix and the Spore as well. KIA said those drones were just on a coffee break because they work for the union. It was a union-mandated break. It doesn't matter that their lives are on the line. They're going to get their freaking coffee. 30-minute lunch is done. To be fair, it was only like a 3-minute lunch, but these Lings are getting spotted here by this Oracle, and they're all coming in. There's already a solid amount of units here for Trumpet. It's going to take a little bit more than Lings, I think, to defend this. But if the units are caught on a move command, then that's a different story. In comes the Lings, trying to get us around, but there's Zealots and Adepts on both sides. So not really able to get too much done. A force field is pretty good here from Trumpet as well. And yeah, the Lings are just going to have to run on by. They didn't even get a single worker kill. Or maybe they did, but not a lot in any case. Evo chambers are down. Still waiting on those upgrades. Okay, we're going into range upgrades here. 11 overlords being made. That's a large amount of overlords. Oracle trying to come back in. Getting a little bit of vision and then getting shoot away by a single queen. Creep spread is starting to get out there, so that's going to help Strix in defending against certain engagements. But Trumpet, I mean, Trumpet's in a pretty good spot here. Look at the supply. He's definitely like double ahead of Strix. And he's just had a bit of a more smooth experience, you know? He's gone, his build order has been getting him everything he needs. He's gone into double robo production now where he can pump out Immortals and Warp Prisms. Strix is spreading that creep, though. Getting those upgrades for range units. He's making roaches 10 at a time. Roach speed as well. He's going to need a lot of roaches, though, to be able to defend. The thing is, though, I don't know that Trumpet is really all that excited about attacking right now. He might actually just wait until he maxes out. He's getting more upgrades. He's ahead in upgrades. Is he? Yeah, he's getting +2 right now. So he is ahead as far as that goes. But Strix is getting there. Still a little bit low on the workers, though. So basically it looks like he's going for like a 1-1 final attack, right? I think he understands his position in the game, so he's basically just going to go and try to kill his opponent. And if he had enough roaches, he would potentially be able to. But the problem is that all these High Templar have Storm already, and they are each going to be able to get off one Storm. So this is going to be incredibly tough. Also with the Oracle tag and the roaches as well. Trumpet has, you know, there's nothing that Strix can do without Trumpet seeing it, unless he, you know, doesn't get tagged. So Trumpet is feeling confident to move out on the map and try to push up. I like the Ravager idea. He's going to need something a little bit more than just roaches. He might be able to land some money biles. In comes the Oracle again, getting another tag on the complete army and getting out there. So here comes Trumpet. He's got the charge lots in place. He's got the High Templar behind. He's getting another full warp in, and this is going to be what it all comes down to. Nice pre-split here from Strix. In comes Trumpet. He's even got an observer for all this creep. Looks like he's coming back here to defend the third base. Some of these Zealots taking some additional fire from these Ravagers that look like they were left behind for that exact reason. Now he's going to try to defend the top of this ramp. He's got a lot of roaches up here. In comes Trumpet with his charge lots. The Storms are doing massive damage. All of the roaches just sitting right in the Storms. Oh my god. There probably was enough roaches to defend against that until every single one of them got stormed to death. Now it just feels so bad if you're Strix because there's no way you can kill like 5 Archons and 3 Immortals. There's no way with a Roach army. So, and then the War Prism in the main, chopping up all the drones in there as well. That was rough, for sure. And it's actually going to be that game right there that seals the deal for Formless Bear Sloths. That's going to be their 4th win. So, we might as well just let it sink in now. LiT has no way of winning this series, so there's no point in casting the rest of the games. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to cast. We got 2 more games left to cast. Or 2 more sets, I mean. So let me go ahead and update this. That was a pretty tough one for Strix there. Having about 8 drones that were not in position or not mining for that long, that amount of time, is definitely going to kill you. And not to mention that he was kind of short on workers for essentially the entire game. You know, it's just that kind of thing. It's tough, though. That's probably one of my biggest issues as a Zerg player as well, is just kind of remembering that you need to have a certain amount of drones before you can really worry about what you want to do in the mid game. But when you feel threatened, you feel like you need to make units, and it's just this whole thing, right? So it's tough for everybody. All right. So we already explained set 5 was a walkover, so we're going to be moving into set number 6 now. And let's just jump into it. Okay. Here we are on Catalyst, looking at the purple Protoss in the bottom right corner, representing Formless Bear Sloths. It is Rocky. And in the top left corner, representing LiT in the teal. Playing Protoss, it is KIA. So as we kick things off here, let's dive into some of these stats that I have compiled. KIA has played a lot of games for LiT this season, 5 to be exact, and he's got a 2-3 record on the season. I noticed KIA was mostly like win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. So staying true to that, we might see him win if that's if you're into stats in that way. Thank you very much for the follow there, Tiny Shark. As for Rocky, oh, hold on. I'm blocking Rocky's stats. Okay, Rocky had 7 games played this season, so he wasn't the only full workhorse. Vousk, we talked about earlier, had a full 7 games played for Formless Bear Sloths, while Rocky has also played all 7 games, and he finished the season with a 4-3 record. So, again, big props to those guys who play all 7 games. It's definitely, you know, players like you mean a lot to your team, trust me. It's tough. Like, I've been a captain myself, and I've seen captains struggle to try to get players every week, and to have somebody that you can count on every single week is just it's just amazing. So Rocky, you're amazing. But in the context of this game, I hope you die, as we have KIA getting the 2 gateways up very nicely timed with his Cybercore here. He's going to be punching out 2 Stalkers against his Protoss opponent. We got the double gateways on the other side. Rocky doing the same thing. So we might as well just call this game a draw right off the bat, because both players are doing the exact same thing. Going to come down to micro. Going to come down to follow-up. KI getting ready to build something. He's going to build something here. It's a Stargate. And so many Protoss players will tell you that a Stargate is essential in PvP. I've just never really been a Stargate fan in terms of playing Protoss, but I can see what they mean. Like, especially if your opponent makes an Oracle, or if you make an Oracle and your opponent hasn't made anything, then, I mean, that's good, right? It's going to keep you back at home. It's going to get some potential damage done. Nice expansion here as well. The other Protoss player, Rocky, looking like he's going to try to do that. And we're missing something from Rocky. See, we already have the Stargate down here from KIA, but Rocky is keeping his tech a little bit more basic. saving his gas for something else. He's getting a lot of stalkers. Oh no, he's getting sentry now. And here we go. So robo facility on this end here for Rocky. So we'll see. The Oracle opener, well, there's no Oracle on the field though, is there? No, it's going to be Phoenix instead. KIA going for the Phoenix. So Phoenix are going to be very good in terms of like help supporting his army. Especially against a robo, it's very good because you can just pick up the immortals. So this type of thing, you know, makes me favor KIA a little bit more. I mean, you can even go a step further and say you can just build Void Rays, right? Which are going to be good against immortals as well. So as far as tech goes, I'm liking KIA's position a little bit more, but we'll have to see how the actual game plays out. We've got Rocky being pretty active with his probe over here, just scouting, just trying to see if there's going to be a very fast third base. And the rest that we're seeing from KIA is just probes and Phoenix and stalkers. We got a Twilight going down here for Rocky. That's going to get him some blink, most likely. And this is the kind of thing I like to see in like a pro game of PvP. One Protoss player going for Stargate, the other Protoss player going for Blink. It creates for some fun matchups. But here we go. KIA moving across the map here. He wants to put on a little bit of pressure. There is a shield battery in place, so that's good for Rocky. But he doesn't even have an immortal out yet. So I'm not sure. The hallucinated Phoenix going to go across the map. Nice decision here from Rocky. He's going to spot his opponent's army, so he's going to be ready for this type of defense. He's warping in. Here comes KIA. The Phoenix are leading the charge. I think he just wants to check for a third. Now he's going to come in and try to get some key lift-offs here. Force field's going down. The Phoenix are looking for the immortals. Not finding any yet, but they'll just settle with Phoenix. The two Adepts coming on in. This is going to be a huge play. They're going to get into the War Prism and really confuse Rocky here while they're getting all sorts of damage done against the probes. The Immortal over here needs to come down and join the fight, but the Phoenix are still picking up. Up goes the Immortal. Look at it struggling for its life here. Getting shot out of the sky. The Immortal actually goes down. Now, it looks like Rocky's going to be able to defend the low ground, but these Adepts have just been sniping away probes here. Oh, no. Actually didn't have as many kills as I thought they'd have. Were they? Oh, it's the freaking shield battery. That's why. The shield battery definitely helping out against that. But now, not able to mine anymore from the main base. The Phoenix can kind of keep tabs as well, but he wants to be careful with those. You don't really want to lose them. He's coming in just to kind of see what he can get done. Like that. That kind of thing. Eventually these Adepts are going to get cleaned up, but not until 8 workers go down. And that basically just evens out the game here. Both players are even in workers now. I'm not sure. No, there wasn't any worker kills on the other side of the map, so KIA going to be spending some of those minerals, getting a bunch of gateways. I think he eventually wants to take a third as well. And we'll have to see what his follow-up is now, because he's kind of done with the Stargate. He hasn't been making out of it for a little while. He's got the 4 Phoenix, and he's getting a Robo. So he's trying to transition here into something different. On the other side, Rocky defended relatively well. He took damage, and I really love that Adept play there. Just really putting your opponent's multitasking to task there. And it's so easy to just click in there and then forget about them and then micro your army over here. But as a defender, it's tough to split your army exactly right or get the war pins in the right spot. And, you know, it puts more work on the defender. So I really like that KIA did that, because if he didn't, it might have been a little bit of a tougher, you know, he might not be in the position he's in right now. Those gateways are done, so is the Robo. It looks like he's sticking on 2 bases here. There's no forges either, so maybe he's just trying to make a ton of units, maybe a Warp Prism, and go across with Stalkers. He doesn't have a Twilight, though, so no Blink or anything like that. And that's something worth noting. We got the Twilight here for Rocky, but he never actually made an upgrade out of it. So I'm wondering what he's going to be doing with that. His army is pretty small right now, and KIA checking the third, sees that there's no third. He's going to put his own third down, isn't he? Maybe not. No, instead he's just going to come over here and catch Rocky with his pants down. He picks up that Immortal, again, just struggling for his life. It looks so funny when they get picked up. The rest of the Stalkers are coming on in, getting damage done. That Immortal could be picked up as well, or was there not enough energy on the Phoenix? I'm not sure, but now KIA finds himself in a strong position, escaping the grasp of the probes. He's just killing more and more probes here. These Phoenix really helping him out in engagements. Right now, they're not helping, but in general, like at the beginning of those engagements, the Phoenix were doing real well. Some Stalkers are going down, but a lot of workers are going down as well. And no counterattack damage on the other side of the map, so KIA is really just giving it to Rocky right now. Still no third base though, so now he's getting the third, and eventually Rocky's going to be able to scout it. He's still got his probe up here. I don't know if he remembers, but it is up there, so he'll be able to see the third. KIA continuing to get damage done. Actually, it looks like he managed to just kill everything in this base. I probably totally missed something important there, but KIA has sort of established dominance. I thought Rocky was gonna would have defended it by now, but no. So KIA will give up the crown though, but not until killing every single worker in the natural. 33 workers have gone down so far this game. So KIA sitting pretty here now that he's got his third halfway done. He's getting stalkers. And he's doing a good job spending his money here. I was trying to say, like, I'd like to see, you know, a Twilight eventually go down or a Forge or something, but, you know, it's not that he can't afford it, but whenever I look, it looks like he's, you know, just recently done a warping of Stalkers or something. Again, the Phoenix just proving how useful they are in these engagements, and this is why people just go Stargate all the time in PvP. The Robo doesn't really work all that well when you got Phoenix picking up all of your Robo units, but that's going to do it. KIA with the huge victory here in the playoffs. Playoffs? And he's going to secure that win for LiT, making the score 4-2 at the moment. Okay, let me go ahead and change this. Oh, there we go. Well, Solo, come on. It was a huge win. It was still a playoff. At the time when he played the game, I don't think we knew what the score was. All right, so as we usually do, we're going to take a short break here during, well, just before we get into the ace match. Again, it's not going to have any implications on the score. As far as Solo's concerned, you might as well not even watch it. The game isn't going to matter. In fact, you know what? Don't even watch this game. Why would I even cast it? Solo's the one playing in it. But it doesn't matter. It's not even a huge game. I know you're trolling. It's fine. I'm going to take a short break here. I'm going to get a drink and get myself all prepped up for the ace match. So thanks for watching, guys. I will be right back. Was I really gone for that long? I'm sorry, guys. I had to go to the bathroom as well. Alright, here we are. Getting ready for the final game of the season for LiT, as we already know. But it's gonna be epic. We did have a sub. Axis was normally our go-to ace match, but solo. Well, let's go ahead and introduce, and then I'll get into that. So, up in the top right corner, representing Formless Bearsloss. In the pink, playing Zerg, it is Vdaynevin. Vdaynevin. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to be saying that. I see that. Okay. And on the bottom left corner, representing LiT. In the blue, playing Protoss, it is Solo. The most recent LiT monthly champion as well. So I was going to say that Axis has kind of been our go-to for our ace match, but he had to be subbed, and there isn't a better player on the team that I could think of that we should sub to other than Solo. He represented us twice this season in 2 games, and he won both of them very convincingly in the Diamond 1 slot. So he played very well and has a 2-0 record this season. As for Vdaynevin, he has a 2-2 record, playing in the ace match every single time, and he has a 5-4 map score record. So overall, doing better than average there for him. So things going pretty standard here for Vdaynevin. And again, if you're watching this, I really apologize. I am not the best with pronunciations, and when it comes to usernames, it gets even worse because, you know, it's just words that you've never heard before, so you try to figure out how to say them. So we're going to be seeing Solo go up against a Zerg player playing Protoss. And we'll see what can go down here. Things are going to start popping here soon, I promise. Just need to wait for the preliminary buildings to be built. Four lings, 2 queens. Pulled out of gas. Fully, actually. So he's going to be getting that ling speed here pretty soon. And focusing on mineral production. So most likely we're going to be seeing a bunch of drones in a 3rd base. Getting a spot, or getting a look over here in a natural. Seeing what type of wall he's going up against. Sometimes you'll come in here with your Overlord and you'll just see like a pylon in the wall. And you're just going to bust it down with Banelings. Like there's just no question about it. But other times you don't see that. Nice little block here from Solo, being annoying at the 3rd base. He's going to eventually get pushed away and probably killed. But he does delay the 3rd for a bit. Robo facility going down as part of the wall. Stalker going to go on hold position here to stop those lings from doing anything to him. The lings actually just let the probe go. They're going to stay at home. So Vdaynevin being very defensive here. He's even getting 4 more lings here. I wonder what those are for. He might be expecting some sort of attack. Even if it's just adepts. Sometimes you got to get those lings out just to defend against adepts. But it's actually just stalkers. And it looks like Solo is being pretty defensive as well. Going into gateways now. So a nice little troop of lings moving out. They have their speed now. Vdaynevin has gotten back into gas here. He's getting spores as well, just blindly. Didn't scout a Stargate, but he's getting them just in case. Yeah, and these lings can't do anything. But standing out here is not terrible because they'll be able to see if any army units are moving out. Solo's got the door locked shut. He also can't go for a third base yet, though. He has to wait. This Overlord coming in, getting a pretty good scout, seeing the gateways. It might trigger something in him to think that there's a bit of an attack happening. There's a Warp Prism going to be popping out as well. So it's timed out pretty well, but Vidanovan does have even more Lings out on the map. Looks like he's going to be looking for a third. That probe somehow snuck out, got the third base down. I'm not exactly sure how that happened. This is a lot of Lings, though, and I think the Warp Prism scouted it. Wait, am I crazy? Where's the Warp Prism? Yeah, it's possible the Warp Prism might have scattered it. Here come the Lings trying to poke around, get some damage done. They could probably force a cancel on that third base. It looks like that's what they're going to try to do. Running over here. There's only a couple Stalkers and a bunch of Sentries here. That third base. Oh my god, he's using all the force fields. He actually saves it for now. And on the other side, his Warp Prism is warping in some Zealots. There are Queens here in defense, but Solo manages to hold that third. And the Adepts, sorry, are coming on in. Going to get a few worker kills here. Forcing Vidanovan to pay attention back at home. But there's a lot of Queens here, so the Adepts on their own not going to be able to get a lot done. That sucked for Solo. Those Adepts are going to die immediately. These Banelings, random Banelings coming in on the sentries. 2 sentries going down. The rest of the Lings are coming in, trying to set up a surround, but more Zealots are being warped in here. These Lings bit off a little bit more than they could chew, and they're going to get pushed back. Both players throwing jabs at each other here with some harassment. Overall, though, Solo with his third base, he's got it almost fully saturated. He's ahead by 20 workers right now. Finally getting into drone production. Vidanovan has sort of sacrificed his economy by sending all these Lings at Solo, but now there's no defense here in the mineral line. Those probes are going to go down almost instantly. The Banelings did not get too much damage done, but a ton of workers are dying right now for Solo. He is at 16 workers killed. You got to break these rocks down to stop that kind of Ling attack from happening. I think that's exactly what Solo's doing. Usually, I get reminded to break down those rocks the same way Solo was, where somebody sneaks in through them, kills all your probes, and you're like, shit, I got to kill those rocks. You know, you'd rather have got it done before you lost 17 probes or whatever it was, 16, but, you know, better late than never. The creep spread is really starting to pop here for Vidanovan as well. He's got a bunch of active tumors around the map. He's only going into lair now. It's a very late lair. Been on lair tech for a long time, but you can kind of tell it's part of his strategy to just stay on a mineral heavy type of game plan. And now he's getting all the gases and moving into you know, the more gas intensive stuff. Solo has his Twilight Council. He's getting charge. What else is he going to go for here? Oh, Templar Archives, there we go. So, heading into Charge Lot Storm, which is something we've seen from almost every Protoss player we've watched today. So I think it's safe to say that that's in the meta. See, these Lings are trying to come through this little hole again, but they're not going to be able to. Nice job putting the pylon here as well to be able to spot if those rocks are being taken down. Another Warp Prism being made, going out for some additional harassment. Fourth base just about finished up here for Vidanovan. He's starting to catch up in workers. He's been droning for a while. Now he's going back into Lings. He's getting Baneling speed and a Hydra Den. So, Ling Bane Hydra is what we're going to be seeing here from the ace player from Formless Bear Sloths. Fourth base going down at the gold. Like that decision. He's getting a bunch of pylons as well. Those are required, not necessarily a decision to get those. Storm is halfway done. Dark Shrine on the way as well. Where is that? Oh, there it is. So the Dark Shrine going to be making its way into the game. All of these Creep Queens are just going ham. Macro Hatch as well. Vidanovan making sure he's covering all the bases. The creep spread slowing down a little bit on this side of the map. Both players happy to just go into the late game, basically. Test each other's skills. See who's better. This Overlord finally going to get taken out. Yeah, see, that reminded him he doesn't have OV speed. I was like, shouldn't he be getting away from just that? But nope, he's going to be getting OV speed now. I know how many workers you lost. So there's a lot of High Templar here getting ready for Storm, and when you have Storm, you can have anything. Warp Prism coming in, forcing a cancellation on whatever that was. That was probably an Infestation Pit or a Lurker Den. No, yeah, it wasn't the Infestation Pit. It was a Lurker Den getting picked off. That's going to make Vidanovin a little bit angry. These Queens almost taking out that Warp Prism. I think Solo may have just figured the Warp Prism was dead at this point, because it seems like he hasn't tried to get it away. Hive coming in here. Vidanovin shooting right for that late game. But both players are really going heavy on the economy here. 76 workers, a 5th base. The Ling run by again. Oh, nice job adding a cannon here as well. Eventually those Lings are going to be able to break that down, but oh yeah, he's committing to this actually. And Solo is moving out of the map. He might have to recall. No, because now the Lings are coming back as well. He's stepping on the creep, showing his intentions here, so the Lings come back. They're not going to be able to break the rocks either. Solo stepping heavy onto creep here against Lings and Banes with speed. These rocks were never taken down, so that's a potential attack option. Oh, he's going to take them down himself and cut off the army. Very nice job here from Solo. These poor Zealots are just dead. Nothing you can do about that. But Solo is going to be able to take out this base. That's a nice tactical play here from Solo. But he's still on creep. He still needs to be careful. But he does have Storm. All these Banelings coming in. Anything else happening on the other side of the map? Not that I see. So here comes Solo. He's walking in. He's going to be trapped here. He's getting surrounded by Banelings on both sides. Easily covers the Banelings from the north. But the ones from the south are all going to go off on the High Templar. Only one High Templar remains. And look at how much damage that Storm does from one High Templar. Imagine if he had 7. That was incredibly costly for him. But he still survives. And he takes out the 3rd now. And now Vidanovin is really going to be finding himself on the back foot. He doesn't have a lot of Hydras. The Charge Lot's going to be able to get on top here and start pushing these back as well. No Lurkers yet either. Where's the Lurker Den? Oh, here it is. But I don't see that he's got any Lurkers yet. Another Sentry joining from behind. He's going to find himself separated. Force Field! No Force Field, sadly. And now Solo has overstayed his welcome a little bit. He's starting to get sandwiched on both sides. He's going to recall. Nice decision there. Again, Solo just doesn't give a shit about his leftover Zealots. GG, says Vidanovin, and Solo going to pick up that first game. And I'd say that was pretty well played. I mean, you know, again, the decision-making and just the standard macro. I think players like Solo and Axis are like your reminder that solid macro play is really all you need. You know, you might get cheesed out from a crazy double robo proxy or something occasionally, but when you have the solid mechanics and the solid macro, you can just win. And then, of course, you have to mix in tactical plays as well, like harassment and stuff like that. But that's the thing that jumps out on me when I watch players like this. And Vidanovin, I think, did a really good job as well, but Solo was able to sort of outmaneuver him when it came to his army. That was a very fun game number 1. So, that said, let's move into game number 2 on Catalyst. All right. Let's introduce the players here. In the bottom right of the map on Catalyst, representing Formless Bear Slots, dropping the first game of the ace match, it is Vidanovin. Vidanovin. And on the top left, representing LiT in the blue, taking game number 1. Playing Protoss, he is Solo. Yeah, that was a pretty epic Bane hit on those High Templars. So honestly, like, that's exactly what Vidanovin needed to do, but he needed just a little bit more than that, apparently, because Solo was just able to quote-unquote Protoss his way in there. I mean, you got Immortals, you got Stalkers, you got Sentries. Like, what else do you really need anyway? Solo coming in, taking a look around with this probe. He's going to see the same kind of thing he saw last time. Nothing too exciting. And again, on this side of the map, we're seeing the same kind of thing. Gas, gateway. Gonna be seeing a Nexus soon. The probe scout is important though, because you come around, you know, if you see a pool first or very early gas pool, then you know you're not building the Nexus, right? You're gonna be building the cyber core, and you're gonna be building another gateway to get a wall. So he needs to sort of check this out before he can make sure he's good to drop the Nexus. Oh, okay. It turns out that I missed some pressure. Oh, with the Warp Prism, eh? Still pressuring with the Warp Prism and Zealots in the main before the GG was typed out. So that's what really sort of pulled the Datum in apart at the end of game number 1. You're right, I did miss that. Alright, Solo keeping tabs on the third base. Vidanovan is sticking in gas this time. He's getting speed, and he's remaining, or he's, sorry, staying in gas here to continue mining. Cybercore coming down, second gas, and again we'll have to see what it is that Solo wants to do once his Cybercore is dead. But I think we're gonna be seeing, well, we're still seeing a pretty fast third base for Vidanovan. So it doesn't have to be pressure. Alright. Ling's coming out, pushing that probe away. Solo doesn't lose it, and the third base goes down. On this side, we see a Robo in the wall. So again, very similar to what we saw last time. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And we got the Baneling Nest. Overlords, drones, nothing too crazy as usual from these players. Both of them playing very standard at all times. The Lings are just running around looking for proxies, shit like that. Looks like they're going to try to go across the map. A huge swell of Lings though coming out. 16, 12. Like, he's making Lings. He's going for the attack here. This is definitely just going to be a Baneling bust. The Baneling Nest is finished. He's moving over here. This wall is pretty heavy. He's even got a sentry there for force fields. This type of thing, like, I've been here before. Oh my god. Okay, well, he picked off one of the sentries right before the force field went down. So now we're talking about something a little different. He's making, how many Banes? Is that 9 Banes? Yeah, 10 Banes. That's a lot of Banelings. You need this many if there's no pylon in the wall. Solo in chat saying he did not mean to lose that sentry. I think that's going to play a big role in the outcome of this game. Here come the Banelings. No sentry. They're going to bust open the wall here, taking out 2 Stalkers at once, and the Lings are just running in. A lot of damage done to the buildings as well. I mean, you can just kill this gateway. The pylons are going to go out. A Warp Prism is done. Warp Prism not going to help out too much against this kind of harass, and the Lings are just getting in and doing all the work. There's not much you can do now when you're in Solo's shoes, as these Lings are just starting to tear everything up. Meanwhile, behind all this, not really doing anything. Seems like he's pretty aware of the situation. He's got Lings in the mineral line as well. Couple Zealots in there to try to defend, but even if you defend this, like, his whole tech was reset. He needs to remake a Robo, remake a Cyber Core. It's just not really going to happen for him. These Zealots going to come out and try to do some work. Probably going to end up getting cleaned up. There's 3 more in the main. So he is doing enough damage to these Zerglings and keeping them busy. But there's not much more that he can really do. The Zealots are pretty slow at this point, so he can just kite them around, pick off what he needs to pick off. More Lings are joining the fray as well. Now he can attack in multiple directions. He can surround the Zealots now. That's a lot of Banelings, more than he needs, really. He's actually losing this fight. Those Banelings are not going to help. They won't necessarily hurt that. Oh! Okay. Solo, almost. I mean, there was a moment where my little Zerg heart nearly just, you know, heavily enjoyed itself as those banelets looked like they were going to get the epic connection, but it didn't happen. Instead, the second base gets surrounded. GG. And it's just the classic Bane bust, right? I actually did something pretty similar in my KSL match last week when I lost my first game. Game number 2, Bane bust, just 1. I probably should have Bane busted again in game number 3. Let's see if that's what happens here as we get ready for the final game of the season. At least from LiT's perspective. All right. In the bottom right of Neon, Violet Square. In the pink, representing Formless Bear Sloths. Playing Zerg, it is Vidanovan. And in the top left, representing LiT in the blue, playing Protoss, Solo. I got the camera tricks. Don't you worry a little hard about it. So the series is even here in the ace match, 1-1. Solo now knows that his opponent is not beneath the scummy Baneling bust. So will that affect how he plays? Probably not, because he was mentioning, like, the only reason why he wasn't able to hold that was because he lost his sentry. So this time you just don't lose the sentry and maybe you have a different situation, right? So we'll see what happens. Probe coming on in. Again, I feel like we're going to see the exact same thing here. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say we're going to see a gas, and then we're going to see a pool, and then we're going to see a nexus, and then we're going to see a cyber core, and maybe another gateway. But I don't think so, actually. Solo hasn't been making that second gateway. There's a gas, there's a pool, there's a nexus. I'm basically a genius at this point. All you have to do is actually cast games, and then next thing you know, you have GM level knowledge. So if you guys want that, I recommend giving casting a try. Alright. We will see the cyber core, I promise you. Okay. So how early are we going to see the third base? Is he going to take the third base down here, or up in the spot where Solo is expecting it? Or are we going to see an Evo chamber? Spoilers, by the way, we do see an Evo chamber already. He's going to get melee. I can see that being pretty dirty. I actually really like it is melee. I wonder if this is going to be similar to what I read about that Scarlet did, but Scarlet did it against a Terran player, which a +1 melee Baneling bust. You essentially get the +1 Lings out so you can push Hellions away, but in this case you could probably use them against like Adepts or anything, Stalkers, even Zealots. And then you can follow it up with like a heavy Baneling bust. It's pretty cool. I like it. So we're seeing a Deviance at least. Melee. We're probably going to see a few more Lings being produced than we normally do. Solo changing it up here, going for the Stargate. And look at this third base location, that's cheeky. At this point, Solo hasn't seen it. He doesn't know about it, so this might be triggering him a little bit. We do see a sentry being made. That's a random third base location. In general, I'm not a fan of it, but in this situation, I actually really like it. Because it is going to put some mind games into Solo's mind here. He just got Bane busted by a 2-base. And now he hasn't scouted a third. He knows his opponent is capable of this kind of thing. So he might be getting extra defensive here. He is making the Oracle, which is good. It's helpful for all sorts of things, including defense. It's not amazing for defense, but it is helpful. And there is like an attack coming. So he's not totally being irresponsible here by, or he's not overreacting really, because there is an attack coming. The only thing is that there's no Baneling Nest, which I wish there was if I was, you know, cheering for formless bear slots. The Lings are going to come up here. They already have +1 melee, but they can't really get in. You know, this map, it's very easy to defend your natural. He might move up to lair and drop. There's a lot of Lings here. They're not really going to be able to get too much done, I don't think. We have a Phoenix being picked up as well. The Oracle, by the way, coming on through. It just missed it. It got 2 worker kills. It's going to come in here, try to get a couple more. Gets up to 6. Needs to move. Get away from that queen. It looks like it's going to get away. The Lings here not able to get much done. So the Oracle picking up 6 worker kills and getting on out. Gonna scout these Lings as well. I don't know if he knows that they're +1 melee yet. Oracle coming in, trying to get a look here at these gateways. Only 2 gateways this time instead of the 3 that we saw last time. And a Twilight heading down there. So Solo's been... Oh, shit. Gets his 3rd base canceled. I was just going to say, Solo has been on 2 bases for a little while, and getting his 3rd base canceled is definitely going to be a shitty thing. These +1 Lings are going to be very good at canceling the 3rd. They're going to come right back in and do it again. That's another 100 minerals down the drain. These Oracles not going to be able to do it. And no cancel this time. That is very rough here for Solo. That's a big loss. 400 minerals at this point of the game down the drain. The Lings are just going to run away as well. Coming to see if they can get it again. Oh, no. What? Misplay here from Vidanovan. He's going to eventually be able to get out, but I think he probably could have clicked on that and just killed it. Even if he lost all his Lings, it might have been worth it. Probably definitely would have tilted Solo. More Lings. He's just making Zerglings and drones at this point. His drone count is relatively low for this point of the game, but Solo has been stuck on 2 bases for longer than he's really wanted to be, so his worker count is not all that high either. Baneling Nest is coming in. The lair's been done for a while. The cool thing about this type of play from Vidanovan is if he wanted, he would have the ability to go into like a heavy Mutaswitch, but the thing is, he's actively not mining gas. Like, he's mining these 2, but that's it. He's not really going for a gas-heavy economy, so a Mutaswitch isn't really in the cards for him right now. But Baneling speed and Banelings, like, he's got enough gas for that. So he's essentially just playing very Baneling heavy here. He's getting upgrades. And Solo is trying to stabilize here, going into double Robo. So unless he plans on going into Colossus, I don't think he's going to get too much done with the Immortals against this type of composition that Vidanovan's going for. He's picking up some more gases as well, getting Burrow. Just doing everything he can to be annoying, getting a macro hatch, especially with all the Lings he's been making. And he's filling up on gas, so I wouldn't be surprised if we did see a Spire go down at some point. If we get that far. High Templar coming in now. Storm has only just started, so he's got to survive for a little while yet. He's getting his upgrades, though. The creep spread, by the way, very good here for Vidanovan, and he's being very active with these creep queens. And he's doing something very smart here. He's not spending just all of his energy on creep. He's saving it so he has enough for some transfuse as well. Infestation pit coming. He's going to be going into Hive pretty soon, I'm sure. Meanwhile, Solo starting to pump out a Warp Prism at Immortals. We've seen this before. This 4th base totally exposed. These upgraded Lings going to chew this to bits. There's no defense here. Pylon goes down as well. Now, I've been talking about upgrades, but actually it's been... Oh my god, the Baneling's coming in. What even was that? Did they kill anything? I don't know. I don't think they did. If they did, it wasn't a lot, and this sentry almost died, but they did cancel the 4th base, so it's still relatively good here for Vidanovan. Going into Hive. He's skipping the Spire. I'd love to see the Spire. Although, admittedly, there are Archons on the map, so Spire's not going to be as totally gangster as it could be, but it's still pretty good. Here come the Lings again, busting open this attack path. Very smart, especially with the way he's been playing. These Lings, he can just sort of split them off all over the map. The Warp Prism's going to see it, though, so he's going to be aware. Getting some Archons in position. Try to kill as many as he can. Some Zealots as well. And they leave the opening here. They leave the door with 17 hit points. And run on back. It's because they spotted the Warp Prism. Not going to be able to get any harassment done here, unfortunately. The Overlord placement was very good. Now here come the Lings again. And yeah, like I said, just like heavy Ling Bane. This is all he's doing. Now he's getting Ultras, of course. It's the pretty... the predictable transition. More High Templars in the mix. We're going to need to see a lot of Immortals now. He does have the double Robo, so he can. But he's not yet. He hasn't scouted the Ultra Cavern yet. Or even the Hive, I don't think. That might be the Hive. Not sure. The creep spread is getting ridiculous here, by the way, for Vidanovan. It hasn't really been pushed back by Solo. So he's all the way up here, right on the 4th base. Reinforcements to get there. This is not going to work either. The Warp Prism is going to get picked off by these Queens who are just waiting. Spore Crawler's going down as well. And he's nearly maxed out on just Ling Bane. Adrenal Glands isn't finished yet. Now he's coming out here to clear some creep. He needs to be careful. This is the exact kind of thing that Vidanovan wants him to do. He's backing up. He's letting him hang himself with his own noose right now. As Solo walks down here, he's just going to get surrounded like he's never been surrounded before. The force fields are trying their best. The storms are epic. Oh my god, he gets a lot of damage done with those storms. He doesn't even get completely taken out with that initial attack. The follow-up attack is going to eventually clear that up, and that is a lot of supply down the drain here for Solo. He's trying to warp in. The Zealots here. The Banelings. It's a little awkward trying to figure out how to do that. Usually it's not a fun trade for either player in that case. This is DT doing damage here. He's got no Overseer. A little bit of wasted time there. Running the DTs around. Now they're going to get taken out. Nice play, though. I like that idea. Those force fields were insane. And those storms, like, they almost did it. But Solo has to reset his army now. It took him a while to get an army that big, and now he's got to start from the beginning. Protoss, not the greatest at insta-making an army, unless you have enough gateways to follow it up. In comes the Ultras as well. Getting all blocked in by the Banes. And Solo is going to have trouble with this. He's got no force fields, but it doesn't even matter with the Ultras on the field. In comes the Zerg army. The Lings leading the charge, trying to get an engagement that they want. Getting us around here. The Archons are trying their best at the back of the army to do damage, but now the Ultras are already on top of them. And they are collapsing in on this 4th base. A little awkward. Ultras are strange to control. More workers are going down here. There's a train of Zealots coming over here to try to kill a base. I don't know if there was ever a base here, but this base is going to be taken down. Vidanovan has seen them. You can tell because the Overseers are running. So we're going to try to get a bunch of workers killed on this side of the map. Try to even up the damage a little bit. The Zealots are strong, but there are so many Lings here. They have Adrenal Glands as well. And these Ultras, by the way, are still just running around. The Immortals are out and able to push this one back, but there's more where that came from. The wall is still pretty strong here. It's going to take a lot to get through that spot for Vidanovan, so it gives Solo a little bit of time to get out a few more Immortals. He's remaking drones as well, which is smart. He's got a little Ling down here that scouted this out. I like this idea from Solo. He pretty much has to do it. It's a shame that his opponent saw it, because now it's going to be target number 1. I mean, with the Ling style play that he's doing, he can move wherever he wants. He can make gigantic armies of Lings and split them into 2. He's got a lot of options. There's a lot of versatility with this type of play. And I think for Solo, I'm not really sure what I would want. I think Colossi would be pretty good against this type of army, although admittedly the Ultras are pretty good against that. But maybe Colossi with some Immortals. Solo walking out on creep again, getting a little bit trapped. The thing is, he destroyed all the Lings, so that was actually a pretty good engagement here for Solo. He killed all the Lings, but there's still a lot of Banelings here, crashing in on the Archons. The Immortals are not all targeting down this Ultra, and now the Lings are starting to do a little bit too much damage to these Immortals, but he actually manages to survive once again and meet up with a few more Zealots. He wants to take out this base. That base is going to die instantly, but nice army movement here from Vidanovan, essentially making sure that Solo sacrifices all of his units to get that base kill. And all of a sudden, it doesn't seem all that worth it. I really liked it. It was a subtle play, but Vidanovan knew his base was going down, so he shifted his army up this way to just make sure that Solo would be trapped. Now he's on the counterattack. It takes, again, much longer for Protoss to remax here, especially with Immortals, so that base is forfeit. The Banelings are coming into the mineral line. There's nothing that they can do. They all died instantly. Again, Banelings versus Zealots has always been a little weird, so it's hard to tell who really won that trade technically, but now the Lings are here. There's enough of them to surround the Zealots. The upgrades are in favor of the Zerg player by far. And now this base is not going to be able to be defended, and Solo is very far on the back foot. He has 49 supply, 41 of those is in workers. So Vidanovan is going to be thinking about how he wants to do that. This type of, this place on the map really sucks for the Ultras. So yeah, he's actually taking the time to break out the rocks now so he can reinforce faster. I like that idea. And I mean, he's just skyrocketing ahead in supply. He's rebuilt the bases that he's lost. Solo trying to do the same thing, but he has to step out on creep just to take his own 4th base back. Both players totally forgetting about this base, by the way. Alright. The Lings here are looking to end the game. It's literally just Lings and Ultras and a bunch of Banelings over here in the back. This base is going to be the target. Solo knows it. Vidanovan knows it. We know it. The Banelings are going to come in from the other side here. This is going to be fun. No, instead they're going to lead the charge. A lot of those Banelings dying before doing any damage, but it doesn't really matter. There are so many Zerglings here wrapping around the entirety of Solo's army. This 4th base is not going to complete. The Lings are able to split off and do some split damage here. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be... Yeah, there we go. GG coming from Solo. An unfortunate end, but honestly, a very good series between 2 evenly matched players. Whoop. Everything's bad. Okay, there we go. Yeah, a very good series. I would say one of the better ace match series we've seen in a long time, at least in terms of, you know, both players being very similar in skill. And showing us good games. I really like that. However, Solo, you get the red mark. And that's going to do it, guys. That's going to put a stamp on the season here for LiT. I'm not sure that I'm going to be casting any more CTL games. I don't think so. I know that we have a different setup now for the finals. I remember like years ago I would cast the finals, but I think we have somebody a little bit more prominent taking care of that these days. So that's fine. Instead, what I'm going to do though before signing off for the season is let you guys know that I'm opening up my email for replays. So during the off season of CTL, if you guys have a specific ladder game you want to see casted, a particularly exciting one. I love the back and forth games myself where you don't really know who's going to win till the end. But even still, if you want to showcase a sweet build or a sweet execution, you guys can email me at gdoggcasey@gmail.com. Bear with me for a quick second. I'm going to actually just add this to the screen here. So it's gdoggcasey@gmail.com. We're going to put that on here somewhere. Hold on. There. That is the email address. Feel free to email me if you want me to cast a game. The game will be casted off camera, or basically like not on Twitch. I'm going to do it off stream, and I'm going to upload them to my YouTube channel. So you can find my YouTube channel at gdoggcasey on YouTube. You'll see some of my previous casts there. The previous weeks for this tournament are up there as well. I'm going to try to set up a playlist and stuff like that to make it a little bit more clean and easy to watch. But yeah, during the off season, anyone, you don't have to be on LiT. You don't even have to be in the CTL. If you know about me, if you watch my cast, you can send me a replay at gdoggcasey2@gmail.com. Try to keep them somewhat entertaining. The first time I did this, I got a flood of emails, and I'll never forget this one day, which basically killed it for me for a while, where I had like 7 replays that I went through, and like 4 in a row, they were just like kind of boring games. So I'm not necessarily saying that it has to be like epic, top tier level play, but just, if it was a kind of exciting game, then go on and send it to me, and I'll be casting them and uploading them to my YouTube channel just randomly throughout the weeks and stuff like that. But that said, I want to say thank you so much for everybody on LiT who played in all the games. Special thank you to Jester Hat for being the team captain and sacrificing a lot of time to get everything set up. Potato puts a lot of work into the CTL as well. He is a CTL admin and represented our team very well in the CTL. xCloud is also a LiT admin and a CTL admin and makes a lot of awesome stuff happen. And to all of our opponents and all the other CTL admins as well. I suppose you can thank TB Ham for some of the work he does. It's probably okay to do that. But again, that's going to do it for this season. So I'm really happy we were able to get through it. We made a playoff berth. We did well as a team, and playoffs in general is a success for me. Everything else after that is just icing on the cake. But huge thanks as well to Formless Bear Sloths for playing this week and playing very well and showing us a lot of good games. And I think that's going to do it, guys. So again, don't forget to email me if you have replays. Don't forget to hit the follow button if you want to see future broadcasts. I don't stream as much as I used to, but I still stream somewhat regularly, so it's worth it. And that's going to do it. Again, thank you so much, guys. That's going to be the end of the season, and we'll see you next season.